A Walk with Teddy. Not long after Theodore Roosevelt's camping trip to Yosemite, he took another trip to explore the outdoors. This time, he went to England. Theodore Roosevelt, or Teddy as he was often called, had always been interested in birds of England, but he had only read about them in books. Roosevelt decided to take a walk in the countryside with a naturalist. He wanted to see the birds in person. While on his walk, one type of bird impressed him. He wrote of this encounter in his autobiography. Theodore Roosevelt was known for his love of the outdoors. June, Thursday the 9th, 1910. We left London on the morning of June 9th. Getting off the train at Basingstoke, we drove to the pretty, smiling valley of the Itchen. Here we tramped for 3 or 4 hours, then again drove, this time to the edge of the New Forest, where we first took tea at an inn and then tramped through the forest to an inn on its other side, at Brockenhurst. At the conclusion of our walk, my companion made a list of the birds we had seen. The bird that most impressed me on my walk was the blackbird. I had already heard nightingales in abundance near Lake Como, but I had never heard either the blackbird, the song thrush, or the blackcap warbler. And while I knew that all three were good singers, I did not know what really beautiful singers they were. Blackbirds were very abundant, and they played a prominent part in the chorus which we heard throughout the day. In its habits and manners, the blackbird strikingly resembles our American robin. It hops everywhere over the lawns, just as our robin does. Its song has a general resemblance to that of our robin, but many of the notes are far more musical, more like those of our wood thrush. I certainly do not think that the blackbird has received full justice in the books. I knew that he was a singer, but I really had no idea how fine a singer he was. A man of action. Roosevelt realized that seeing and hearing these birds in the wild gave him more information than any book. He could see the birds in action. He could hear their calls to each other. His experience revealed much about the birds of the country. Roosevelt continued to travel throughout his life. He took every opportunity to study animals in the wild, but his travels also showed him that habitats needed to be protected. In his years as president, Roosevelt worked to preserve land. He established 150 national forests, 4 national parks, and 51 bird reservations. These sites continue to protect the nation's wildlife. Roosevelt declared Crater Lake a national park. This lake is the deepest lake in the United States. It has a depth of 1,943 feet. As president, Roosevelt established Pelican Island National Wildlife Refuge. This was the first area set aside by the federal government to protect wildlife.